Hey Sagittarius, welcome to your yearly 2019 Sidereal Astrology forecast. All right, so this year we have an emphasis on two key areas for you. One is going to be on your 12th house where you have Jupiter. So lots of expansion likely with the behind the scenes area. A lot of you likely expanding your spiritual side, maybe getting insights from dreams, maybe diving deep into your psychology and all this kind of under the world kind of stuff. So really good here for expanding this and seeing synchronicities and gaining higher wisdom through some of these more etheric realms. So along with this, you have Saturn, Pluto, and the South Node all in your first house. So there is likely a lot of emphasis on you maybe taking some responsibilities this year, taking things slowly and steadily, empowering yourself through facing some fears, and really bringing into balance your sense of independence through what will likely be some awareness about some patterns in your life in terms of who you are, what you want, and being aware of that can really help you really transform and empower yourself this year. So with this, we do have Uranus transitioning into Aries here around April. This is your 5th house. So transition for the next 5 years regarding your self-expression. Great time to mix up things, new ways of expressing yourself. Also maybe even trying some new passions. Things you're passionate about can be quite exciting and innovative here this year moving forward. All right, so let's take a look at all of this here in more detail when we return. All right, Sagittarius, here is your chart for the year. Now we are using the outer planets as you can see here. So this is a general look at the year. If you do want to stay up to date on the monthly and weekly transits, do watch the daily videos where I do go into the fast moving planets. If you are new to the channel, you'll also notice that the signs here are different sizes, and that's because we're using the actual sky called True Sidereal Astrology. So if you are new to the channel, definitely check out that link down below, mainly because you will want to make sure you're watching this for your sidereal signs. There's a birth chart calculator down there, so do make sure that you do in fact have your either sun, moon, or ascendant in Sagittarius. All right, so let's take a look at the year for you all. January kicks things off. There's a lot of things starting in the first month of the year here with the solar eclipses. Also, the two aspects that we have this year are also starting in January. So let's take a look at the eclipses first. January 5th, we have a solar eclipse in your sign, in your first house. And so right at the beginning of the year, really good time to do that sort of inner reflection. The South Node is all about releasing patterns. And the way we go about this is about bringing more conscious attention to our unconscious minds, you could say, just into our unconscious. And to be aware of if there are any patterns in your life that you may have had for many years regarding your sense of independence, regarding your personal needs and wants, just to be aware of this. Because it's through that awareness that will likely be just releasing these energies naturally. And so things like obviously meditation, spirituality, anything that helps you become aware of your own patterns, specifically relating to your needs and your independence, can really help facilitate this process. And there could even be a sense of new beginning with this, a new empowerment, a new transformation from the releasing kicking off the year. Now later in the month, January 21st, we do have the lunar eclipse, and this is going to be likely cultivating whatever's been shaping up this past year, 12 months-ish, 9 to 12 months, regarding the deeper dimensions. If you've been exploring new things regarding the deeper aspects of life, the deeper aspects of yourself, or possibly even matters pertaining to deeper connections or shared resources or other people's money in some way, working with that, that stuff starts to finalize and develop here around the end of January. Now, when it'll likely mostly solidify will be in April, once the North Node finishes the transit of your 8th. And where the North Node's going to go is into your 7th house of relationships here, this April onward. And so you'll probably notice this mostly in July, because July 2nd, we do have a, July 2nd, we do have this solar eclipse in your 7th house. And so this will likely be some new beginnings for a lot of you regarding relationships. And so it's really a great year, especially July onward, for discovering new things regarding relationships, trying new things regarding relationships, learning more about the dynamics of relationships, give and take, mutuality, reciprocity, all of this kind of stuff. And all of this exploration is really going to help balance out what is this, again, very transformative time for you with all this energy in your 1st house. And this is the classic example that in order to really know who we are and to bring more balance to ourselves, we do need relationships in our life. Right, so that's going to help balance it from that level. But also, in order to have, healthy relationships, we do need to know who we are. And so it's really finding that balance here, particularly around July, that I think will solidify these two areas between self and other for you. Your needs, others' needs. Again, that kind of mutuality, reciprocity there. And maybe new beginnings there with the relationships. All right, and along with this, the South Node, particularly the 1st half of the year, it's going to be very close to Pluto, very close to Saturn. So this 1st half of the year, good for really releasing any self-limitations. Like I said, it's a really good time right now to embody Saturn energy, patience, discipline, hard work, building strength of character. But with the South Node here, also being aware of if there are any self-limiting things that you might be releasing. And again, July could be a high point for that. Also with Pluto, as you have been the past 10 years anyways, continue to face your own fears and release these fears. I think there'll be plenty of opportunities for that, which again can be very empowering for you this year. Now, this would normally be the end of the eclipses, but since we do have the eclipses at the very end of the year and beginning of the years now, December, January, we do have a solar eclipse at the very end on December 26th. And this will be in your sign. And this is going to be after Jupiter comes into your sign. So in November, Jupiter's going to leave that 12th house where a lot of you are going to finalize more of those behind the scenes energies. And it's going to come into your sign and really boost a little bit more of your sense of independence and sense of self, really. Because again, it's quite, it's quite grounded, maybe a bit limiting with Saturn here. But when Jupiter comes in, it kind of expands this a bit. So at the very end of the year, December 26th, there's this solar eclipse, this new beginning that could be shaping up about a newfound sense of inspiration, newfound sense of adventure, right? All this stuff that your sign's about, right? Expanding your horizons, listening to your spirit for life. Could be certainly a new beginning with yourself involving this, again, sense of empowerment through this transformation from the year. All right, so let's head back to January because this is, again, also when the transits start, the two aspects that we have start. And so one is going to be Jupiter squaring up to Neptune starting January for all intents and purposes, we'll say the rest of the year. And then also Saturn sextiling up to Neptune. So these two aspects involving Neptune will likely place an emphasis on this planet. Neptune's been in your 3rd house the past roughly 10 years. And so this has been this importance of really listening to your inner guidance for the insight and information and being receptive in life when it comes to the practical things like the ebb and flows and being present with the mind and observing the mind. And also when it comes to communication, doing so in ways that are receptive and unconditional and accepting. And a lot of you may even have some dreams and ideals regarding things like writing or communication or teaching or learning. And this year is an excellent year for grounding that. A square between Jupiter and Neptune is that the natural tendency might be to, collectively might be to escape or kind of get caught up into the clouds. But with the square, it's this opportunity to really ground the energy. All of this opportunity that you'll have to get your alone time or work behind the scenes can really support these dreams, these ideals, and really help ground them, right? From whatever the work is you can do here. Great year for doing work with your spiritual self and then also practical matters. And how can your spiritual self join up with your practical self and incorporate the two? Because of course we can't have one without the other. So that's that side of it. The other side is Saturn, sextile Neptune, which is a bit of an opening here. where all of this work you're doing with yourself, like the self-responsibility, you're developing maturity for a lot of you, this discipline stuff, Saturn stuff, all of that is going to be also supporting maybe some of these dreams and ideals that you have. And you'll probably notice a bit of flow with that. And again, maybe supporting some things you might be cultivating involving learning, reading, writing, communication in this receptive way. All right, so the last most important thing to talk about here is that Uranus is going to enter into Aries around that April time. And so this is going to place more of an emphasis on your self-expression. In fact, it's going to finalize the 4th house, where if over the past also roughly 10 years, if you felt like there's been a lot of erratic energy involving the home life or personal life, but now finalizing, you could be finding a newfound sense of freedom with your home life, some of you even your health as well. This is going to finalize here. Now, where Uranus is going for the next 5 years, April onward, is going to be on you expressing yourself in unique and different ways. So mixing up the area of self-expression, creatively, whatever it is. Also your passions in life. What are maybe some newfound passions, or what are you passionate about already that you may try some new things with, really mix up the area and bring in some of that excitement into it. So great year for that. Could create a bit of freedom, spontaneity with the area that has to do with fun, enjoyment, and our passions in life. All right, so Sagittarius, have a fantastic 2019. Thank you for watching. Now on the page is a 20% discount for personal readings. So if you do want a personal look at the year ahead for you, do check that out. Thank you so much for all of your support with this channel, and I will see you all very soon for the next daily forecast. Take care.